Yo, what is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? What is good? Hope everybody's doing well, man. Hope everybody is doing well. Ooh, all right. Let's talk, man. Let's talk. Let's talk, man. Yesterday, I didn't want to do nothing immediately after the game because I was a little down, but hey, we slept on it. It is what it is. Things happen. I'm not gonna dwell over anything. It was a freaking fantastic season, and man, just looking ahead, we got some potential, man, going forward. Just going into this season, I honestly feel like this team's potential is freaking through the roof. We got a lot of good young foundational pieces. Um, we got some money to make some things work. Um, I think there's going to be a good amount of people on the market this year in terms of free agent and trade block. I'm excited. I am very, very, very excited. But really quick, shout out to everybody who's already in here. Rashard was good. ONT6, one of the goats of this, man, was good with you. Raider7, what's up? Carlos was good. Samurai, what's up? Long U Raider was good. Raider Rick, what's up with you? Andy, check your IG. I said something. All right, I'll check it right now. Getting over it slowly. Yeah, was good, Andy. Was good, Alex. And what's up, Sean? James and Hanzo, man. What's up with everybody? Like I said, um, I'm appreciate you, bro. That's funny as fuck. All right, let's see. But bro, this right here, I mean, I got to take a look at a good amount of people that they did some things, but the Raiders definitely had a good year. Definitely exceeded a lot of expectations. That's not the way I wanted to end the season. I did feel like that was a very, very winnable game. I'm very, very happy. I mean, you look at the way that our offensive line started the season. Yeah, our offensive line didn't end the season as a top five offensive line, but man, it also didn't end the season the way that it started, and it started pretty freaking bad. It started pretty freaking bad. So, um, I'm excited, man. The offensive line I do feel like is maybe just a right tackle off. Doesn't seem like Alex Leatherwood is going to work out. I don't think he's going to go to offensive tackle again. It's best to keep him at the guard position. I think he can do well with another training camp under his belt, with another off season under his belt. I really, really do think that he can be good at the guard position. He has a good build for it. But I think that right tackle spot really, really, really needs to be addressed. But it's interesting, man. It is interesting. Like I said, we got a good core foundation going forward, though. It is something to look at. I mean, you look at that defensive side of the ball. Diablo's emerging. Thank God for Nate Hobbs. You have a great talent over the top in Trayvon Merrick, and it is exciting, man. Max Crosby again having another outstanding season. Then you have Denzel Perryman for another year. He's only getting paid $2 million, and I think we can free up a lot of cash, man. Hopefully we find a way to get out of that Carl Nassib contract and that Corey Littleton contract. Those two combined are almost taking up $30 million. Like it's really, really up there, man. So. Shout out to Gunsmoke says Waller did not seem like himself. His hands were shaky. Yeah, I saw this game and his last game. I felt like he was a little too eager to go up field. I felt like he tried to go up field before he really secured the ball. And there was a couple times where he juggled it because he was trying to go up field. And as he was moving, he kind of forgot to fully get possession of the ball. I did notice that. I do think it's just him and DC hadn't played with each other for a month and a half, not even practice. So I think it was a little bit shaky off of that, but yeah. Damn, 30 mil. So it's Nassib is taking up about 9.5. Corey Littleton next year will take about 18. If we cut him or trade him, we'll free up about 11. So it's really about 20 million just between those two guys. We will still have to you know, give Corey Littleton some money that's owed because he has some guaranteed money in there after you know he uh he freed up some cash for us last year and the year before that. Let's see. That whistle call should have been a dead play. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of that. You know, a lot of the media is giving those refs a lot of backlash. I did find out that those refs won't be officiating any more games this postseason. So it was definitely something that kind of, I wouldn't say changed anything because it happened early on in the game, but you know, the rules are the rules, and if the whistle is blown, the whistle is blown, and the play shouldn't have counted. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I don't really want to dwell on that too much because even after that, our team had so many freaking opportunities. They played good. We played good. It was at the end of the day, they just finished a little bit better. But um, yeah, I'm not too mad about that. It does suck that it happened to us, but hey, man, it's not like the other games where we were like the fucking Eagles that just got their shit blown out on national TV. So we put up a good fight. I mean, it was the last freaking play basically. And me personally, for those of you guys who watched the live stream when me, Graf, Stu, and Hammer were all on there, I wasn't a fan of spiking the ball there because when DC threw that pick on fourth down, there was about 9 seconds on the clock, right? And that's those 9 seconds you could have used on that play that you spiked the ball down on first down. You could have used those 9 seconds on a play, and even if you didn't get it, you still got three more shots at the end zone. That's about the only thing that I didn't agree with this game. I know that the Joe Burrow touchdown, it was big, right? It was big, but I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is at this point. We have so much to look forward to, man. This off season is huge. It's it's big, man. There's a lot of names out there, a lot of bigger names out there that can really, really, really help this Raiders organization get back to where it needs to be, man. Because I'm honestly very happy that this team, as much as Zay Jones stepped up, as much as guys stepped up on the offense and that kind of stuff. I feel like this team really outperformed their roster. I really do. I felt like DC really, really led this team in a position that if you look at our roster on paper, it shouldn't have got this far, right? So when you got $50 million in just base cap, without cutting Carl Nassib, without cutting Nick Kwiatkowski, guys that right there is about $15 million. Um, you know, I'm ready. I'm ready to see the moves we make as far as coaching because that's a really really big thing. I'm glad to see that guys like Jacobs and DC to finish out this season really really got it going again. It was really 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 good to see that because there was that slump where we lose 5 out of 6 games and it's looking like, okay, well, what's going to happen here, like DC and Jacobs, those are captains on this team and they're underperforming massively, and it's like, man, like what's going to happen, and then they start to get it going again. Obviously you'd want to see it to get going much quicker, but they got it going. The freaking Jacobs his last couple games has been outstanding, right? And I'm all for going forward, man, with this team. And I honestly, you put a couple explosive pieces on the offense, you give DC. I think he deserves about two new weapons on that offense, man. Two guys that here's the thing. I think weapons, we have weapons. But what we don't have are playmakers. So I think we need playmakers, right? On offense, there's nobody that's going to make the big play. Nobody. Not even Darren Waller. He's not going to break a tackle and run for 80 yards. Darren Waller's not going to stiff somebody and go for another 10 yards after catch. He's gonna make the big grab and he's gonna fall down. He's gonna make the that's Darren Waller, and he's got 1,300 yards in the season doing it. So he's a big player. But we need that playmaker that's gonna catch a ball and take it to the house. Get a Devontae Adams that's gonna turn a 2 yard freaking hitch route into a first down. Right? We need that. We need that. So we have weapons on this team. We now need playmakers. And there's a whole lot of playmakers in free agency right now, or going into free agency. And I really, really, really want to get into this college football tape. I'm gonna try and get my hands on college football tape for you guys because I love doing these breakdowns, and I'm really excited, man. I really truly am. It sucks that our season ended that way, with some officiating went away or went different directions. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Um, let's see. We should go for Harbaugh for head coach and Vanzio for defensive coordinator. I know for a fact that my boy Graf is probably all with you there, Chaos. You guys are same page with that. Me personally, I know that Vangio is very successful, but if I would love to go get the defensive coordinator from the Colts, Eberflus. He runs a 4-3. We're not changing personnel. We're not changing personnel or scheme. We're just changing the way it's ran. So I would love to get Eberflus. I know he'll get he'll get some hype as far as a head coach job somewhere, but I mean, after the way that they finished the season, I don't think he'll get a head coaching gig. But I would love to get Eberflus, right? Don't change the scheme because, if you go out and get Vic Fangio, that's a 3-4 scheme. That's the only reason why we got Yannick, because Yannick was in a 3-4 system and he didn't do well. Max Crosby is not built for a 3-4 scheme. We don't have the outside linebackers for that. We don't have pass rushing linebackers for a 3-4 scheme. Do I think that the 3-4 is where the direction of the league is going? It is, but then you still got these extremely, extremely, extremely good defenses like the Colts that are running a 4-3 still. It's just about the personnel and the guy that's running it. But I really feel like we need a dominant player on defense that's somebody that we can rely on, right? That's somebody we can rely on and be like, okay, we need somebody here. We need somebody that's going to make a play here. Does the player have to sign the franchise tag, or the player has no choice? So with the franchise tag, technically, they don't have to sign anything. If Devontae Adams were to say, okay, if the Green Bay Packers went to Devontae Adams with an envelope and say, here you go, Devontae, we're franchise tagging you, that's what we're choosing to do. He doesn't have to sign it, therefore, wouldn't work. But the thing with the franchise tag is that it pays you top dollar at your position for 1 year. So there's guys that sign it because in the league, if you get one big paycheck, I mean that's life changing money, right? So there are players that'll, all right, it may not be what I want. I want more certainty, but this year I'm going to get top money, and most of the time it's guaranteed, right? But you'll see guys like this year with Allen Robinson, he kind of refused to do it, but until it came down to the fact that he really wanted to play football, he ended up signing it. But he got paid top dollar, right? Now, he's going to be a free agent. Devontae Adams will be a free agent. So technically, nobody has to sign anything, right? But at the same time, nothing moves forward, nothing at all. Now, if a team wants to say, "Hey, Devontae, we know you no longer want to be here with us, but we're not just going to let you go for free." Like Green Bay won't just let Devontae Adams walk. They won't just let him walk. Now, what Green Bay will do is be like, okay, go ahead. Here's the franchise tag. Go ahead and sign it. And let's say he signs it, right? Devontae Adams signs it. Then they can proceed with teams that have the cash and the money and the cap space to pay for the trade as well as paying his contract, right? So they're now getting him under contract, but they're also getting compensation out of him because they're trading him. They're not just letting him walk in free agency. Now, do I think that the Green Bay Packers will probably do that with a guy like Devontae Adams? Absolutely. Now it just be what's his price? What's his price tag at that point? I think he's going to be like what 29, almost 30. I don't think that he'll go for a first round pick, or he may go for a first round pick. But it's interesting. Uh, what if he refuses to play? Would they still tag him? Well, if he refuses to play, he refuses to play. I mean, there's nothing that they can really do about that. But most likely, what will happen with a lot of players will be it's kind of like what I wanted us to do with Anthony Harris in 2019 or 2020. He had a big year with the Vikings, and the Vikings, they they uh, they put a third round tender on him, and any team can put a tender on any player. Last year, we put I think it was a fourth or a fifth round tender on Nicholas Morrow. So basically, what that means, he's under contract, but the tender means, guess what? If any team just says, "Hey, we're giving you a fourth. This is our fourth round pick. We're taking Nicholas Morrow." That's what a tender is. So, when Casey Hayward had Anthony Harris had an absolutely amazing season with the Minnesota Vikings 2 years ago. I was like, well, why the hell aren't we just giving up a third round pick and going out and getting one of the most productive safeties in the NFL? But guess what? He had a down year, and then they let him go in free agency. So it's very, very interesting. But I mean, it's a lot to get into right now. It's a lot to get into, but I am excited to talk about all that stuff. So if you guys want to ask those questions, go ahead and ask them. I did want to talk a little bit about the season, but as far as the season goes on, I did touch up on the offensive line. They grew a lot this year. They gained, they got better, right? They didn't become great, they didn't become awesome, but they got better. And I still think that there's a glaring hole at the right tackle position. I do feel like it would have been smarter if we would have started Jermaine Illuminor these last two games, but we didn't. It is what it is. But regardless, Jermaine Illuminor would have just been, a band-aid. It wouldn't have been an actual like, how do I say it? It wouldn't have been long term. It wouldn't have been long term. It would have just been a little band-aid to cover it up. But we need something long term, right? Um, but good at right tackle. Honestly, GC, it's an option. It is an option, but I think that as far as Denzel Good, he got the 2-year contract extension. um, it'll be interesting to see if he plays right tackle, because his contract extension, if you compare it to right tackles in the NFL, even the bottom right tackles in the NFL, it's very, very underpaid. So his contract is set up to be a guard. His contract is set up to be an interior player, not a offensive tackle, right? Now we saw him last season. He was productive at right tackle, right? There was times where he had a little bit of mishaps or whatnot. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. Do I think that he'll play right tackle? I mean, there's a possibility. It's up to him if he's willing. Um, but that is just like a band-aid. It's just something that'll help for the season, and then you know, it is what it is. Is Olson's resign true? I'm not sure. Let me take a look at that. Let me take a look at that. Um, Olson's resign. Where did you guys see that at? I didn't see that. Yeah, I didn't see any of that. Franchise tags roll over to the next year. What do you mean by that? They last for a season. I'm just excited and optimistic to start this off season. Something I've really never felt. Yeah, it is interesting, man. It is very, very interesting. Because this is a team with a lot of potential. It's fake news. Oh, okay. Morrow should have played. He wasn't healthy, man, and that's one of our guys. He's going to be a free agent. He's going to be a free agent this year. We re-signed him. I think he got like a $3 million deal, and he didn't even play down for us this year. So that one's a little sucky. But like I said, man, we got like $51 million in base cap space, and there's a lot of contracts that we can get rid of that'll put us up into like 70, maybe even $85 million range. But I mean, these players right now, we got some money that we can go make, definitely. Um, what good cornerbacks are coming out of this year's draft? Well, just really the only guy that really catches my attention is Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. That guy, man, he brings swag, he brings freaking confidence, and I feel like in a defense like this that is so simple, you need that. You need somebody to have that energy, to bring that energy every single day. Even if they make a mistake, they don't care. They don't care. They just want to go out there and make a play. I feel like we need that. I feel like we need that. Off the top, that's about the only player that really catches my attention. But it is what it is. Drop Cleveland Furrow, drop Nassib. Cleveland Furrow is going to make a lot of money this year. He's going to make close to like $10-ish million. So it'll be interesting. And Nassib is close to that as well. I like both their CBs. Okay. Let's see. Need a better offensive coordinator? No doubt. No doubt. The penalties killed us. Oh, yes. They definitely did, man. I mean, the first drive, we were moving the ball with ease. And and he was, we were just driving. We were just driving. And, we got a penalty. It killed the drive. Then the second drive, I believe, was the sack fumble. That one sucked. And the third drive was when Payne Barber freaking, I don't know what the hell he did. He decided to field the ball on the 2-yard line, and that's interesting. But it's simple. When we needed our offense, they gave up on Carr. I mean, I wouldn't say gave up on Carr. I just felt like we didn't have enough. We didn't have enough firepower, man. We just didn't have enough firepower. We got to re-sign Phylon, Thomas, and Jefferson. I'd re-sign two of those guys. I'd re-sign Phylon and Jefferson 110%. I just felt like Thomas was a non-factor the last 2/3 of the season. Personally, how do you feel about Kobe Dean in the first and Sauce Gardner in the second, if possible, available still? I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't know the first person. I haven't looked much into the college scene, but we do need a corner. We do definitely need a freaking corner. So it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting. I mean, what do I think about Sauce Gardner? I just said it. He would bring swag, intensity, and confidence to this defense. But as far as Sauce Gardner, I mean, him in the second round, he would have to do some crazy stuff for him to fall to the second round. That just won't happen. That just won't happen. We abandoned the run because we were down 13. We didn't have a choice. Yeah, we were playing catch-up football. We were playing catch-up football. There's no way to establish a run game down 2 scores in a playoff game. You gotta go out and do what it do. Arnett's a free agency and he's healthy. I'm pretty sure he's with the Dolphins. If Josh Jacobs comes back healthy and fit, I'll be happy. Me too. Let's see. Salute. um, let's see. Shout out to Gunsmoke again. Says if you can have a new head coach or new OC, but not both, what would you do? I'd rather have a new OC. Because I feel like our guys are already willing to rally around Rich Bisaccia, but I really feel like the play calling on offense needs to be 1,000,000% better. Like it's ridiculous how much better that this play calling needs to get, because it's been horrible. It's been horrible all season. with Gruden, with Olsen, it's been trash. It's been trash. Yeah, some of those calls were BS. Yeah, but that's life as a Raider fan. Throw a bag at J.C. Jackson. I mean, I would do it. I would do it. But at the same time, it's like, uh, he's good at making the big plays. He gets the turnovers and he has good coverage. He has great coverage at times, but you know, I just don't know how much money he's going to demand. And I feel like we have a bigger hole at defensive tackle and a bigger hole at receiver. That if you throw a bunch of money at a corner, it's just like, uh, let's see. Fire Greg Olson. I agree. We're not getting a good OC if Rich is head coach. Yep, I agree. You gotta just the staff, man. The whole staff has to go. The whole staff has to go. You can replace running backs every 3 years. I agree. You can replace you can replace a running back in the freaking sixth, seventh round. Like you really can. Um, Running back is such a replaceable position, but you know Josh Jacobs has really turned it up a notch. I'm not sure if we're going to end up picking up his fifth-year option. It'll be interesting. I think that we'll probably end up picking up his fifth-year option. I don't think we're going to pick up Clee's fifth-year option. That'll be pretty dumb if we picked up Clee's fifth-year option. But yeah, was good. Andy was good. Desert Raider, Harbaugh, Fangio, and a creative. I just I don't know, man. Like I said, I would much rather Eberflus than Vic Fangio. I feel like Vic Fangio, like you're changing too much. You're changing your defense. You're changing your scheme, and you're drafting completely new style players. Do we keep Kenyon Drake? I mean, he's already under contract. I don't see why you wouldn't. Elijah Mitchell was a sixth-round pick. There you go. Um, that's why I'm hoping for new coaching. Yep. 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 You gotta have new coaching. You gotta not blow the whole thing up because you have good players, but just you know, new coach, new head coach, new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator. The only thing is though is that the thing I like about Gus Bradley is he really has a good eye for talent. So if I could, I wouldn't let Gus Bradley go, but his defense just it helped us a lot, but I mean, any new defensive coordinator was going to improve this defense with how bad it was. Would you bring back Abram? Abram is still under contract, Dark Raiders. So unless you're asking, do I pick up Abram's fifth-year option? Um, I'm I'm not sure if that's your question, but Abram is still under contract, so you don't have to bring him back. He's already here. But if you're asking, do I bring back or do I pick up Abrams' fifth-year option? I would not. I think that he would get paid too much on his fifth-year option. I think you would let him don't give him his fifth-year option. See what he wants in terms of price, and then it is what it is. Abram would have been better than Trufant. Yeah, Trufant is absolutely horrible. He's absolutely horrible. I think you get a new OC for a season, have our interim head coach hand him the reins for after next year. I feel like the team would play better for someone like that than just a new head coach. Um, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, it's like this this city, this team, this roster. Um, I feel like at that point you're just wasting their time. You're wasting the team's time. If you're gonna go all out, you go all out and you get everybody this year because, I at that point I kind of disagree. I feel like like I said, this team, this roster, this organization, this new stadium, this new facility is very attractive to coaches. and players around the NFL. So I feel like this will be a very, very strong destination for many, many coaches and players, free agents, rookies. So I think you can go out and you can get a new OC, you can get a new defensive coordinator, you can get a new head coach. But it has to be very, very soon so that these guys can have a full 6.5 months to really work the ins and out of the new team, the new coach, get used to him, the new scheme on defense, the new scheme on offense. Let Derek Carr learn the full freaking playbook by the end of this month. If you're gonna make those changes, you make them very, very soon, if not now, because this will be it'll if you wait to see what you have after you already seen what you had these last weeks, it'll be too much. It'll be too much. But I think that you do what you do. You go if it's hardball, you get him this week, and you implement Harbaugh's offense this week. You give DC the playbook this week. You let him memorize that playbook this week. But that's like I don't know. I feel like I just said, you can do all that. I don't think that it's one or the other. I don't think that it's I don't think it's head coach or offensive coordinator. I think that you get them both. You get them all. Um, that's just what I think. Harbaugh would drop Carr fast. No, I think that Harbaugh actually would love Derek Carr. It fits his style offense very, very well. It fits his style offense like extremely well. So if you get Harbaugh, you're most likely keeping around Derek Carr. Um, but it'll be interesting. Take a hard look at Brian Callahan, Cincy offensive coordinator. Same basic scheme with some fresh wrinkles and better play caller. DC's QB coach in 2018. I would love it. I would love it. The way that they they really ran their scheme very well. I mean, when we saw Jamar Chase in the backfield, it wasn't just he's gonna get a sweep. It was either an end around. It was gonna either be a toss play. He was doing a lot of stuff, and what I like is that not just the it was not just better play calls, but it was designed to fit their personnel. So when I say that, it's like they're allowing to put the ball in the hands of their playmakers. We have playmakers. We just did not scheme for our playmakers. In the first 10 weeks of the season, 13 weeks of the season, we did not have a run game, but yet we have a great receiving back in Kenyon Drake that was an amazing screen player with the Cardinals and Miami. He was amazing with the ball in his hands in space. Never once did we run a screenplay to Kenyon Drake. Never once. And the one game that we actually tried to exploit the matchups that Kenyon Drake had, Kenyon Drake caught a 37-yard touchdown on the Broncos. They exploited their linebackers because that's what Kenyon Drake can do. But with no run game, on top of no run game, having no creativity, not calling your players numbers, just going out there and letting your quarterback just read the field, that's fine if you have a superstar wide receiver that's going to get open every play. That's fine if you have the right tackle that isn't going to have your quarterback getting fucking blown up. You know, that's fine if you have that style offense. But guess what? When you have no running game, you become one-dimensional. They can target Renfro. They can bracket Waller. The defense can come down more in the box. Our play calling was bad. Our designs were even worse. That's how it was. Kenyon Drake not once had a screenplay designed for him. Not once. Not once. The one time we ran him on a wheel route, he freaking scored a 37-yard touchdown. He's a playmaker. This is probably the first time in his career where he didn't have a 50-yard run because the team didn't design that for him. They didn't. Our offensive play caller wasn't just a bad play caller, just didn't have the right designs implemented. You know, it doesn't make sense that you have a big body receiver in Brian Edwards and Darren Waller and Foster Moreau and Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. You got all these guys that are supposed to be great at scoring touchdowns, but yet we are horrible in the red zone. The one week that we designed something for Brian Edwards in the red zone, he scored a fucking touchdown in the red zone. The one time we had a play designed for Brian Edwards in the red zone, he scored a fucking touchdown in the red zone. And then you let him get another chance a few weeks later on a fade route against a top corner in the league in Denzel Ward. And guess what? He scored another touchdown. You know, when we play the Philadelphia Eagles and we're without Darren Waller and we need a tight end to really take over the game, you know what we did? We game planned and we said, Foster Moreau, you have to do this. But guess what? We game plan for Foster Moreau. You've never seen us game plan for fucking Edwards. You've never seen a game plan for Kenyon Drake. Never. Because our coaching staff was just not good enough at doing that. You know? But it is what it is. Ragus runs into daylight. Josh Jacobs doesn't. I would have agreed with that statement a month ago, but seeing how Jacobs has gotten back to his, to what he is this last month, I'd say that he's returned to form a bit and he's really hitting the creases that he needs to. But yes, about a month ago, yeah, definitely. Um, let's see. Still can't get over that Hunter slipped on his route. Yeah, I know that was a tough one. Bro, Burrow been in the league for 2 years. All these excuses. I'm done with excuses. Yeah. To be honest, even if we design all kinds of shit, Carr doesn't see what he wants to see pre-snap. He's going to go away from it. Not if the play is designed for one person. He can't go away from it if the play is designed for one person. And Gruden isn't here, and I guarantee Mark won't hire him as a head coach. Tim Brown watching Cowboys losing. Great. Do you give JJ a second contract? Me personally, I let him play out this last year. Don't pick up his fifth-year option because it's going to be a lot of money. See what he wants. Let him explore his options in free agency. And if he wants to stay here, he'll stay here. He'll come for a fair price. But if he wants money, he can go elsewhere. Let's see. He will check out of it. Got to limit turnovers on offense 100%. Carr missed open receivers again. Now I remember. Yeah, I mean, this is a thing. I said this on that last play. He threw that ball very prematurely to Zay Jones. He had time. He took his drop back and he launched it. That's all he did. He was glued. He didn't see that Waller was developing on his wheel route, and Waller would have gotten open, but he didn't see that. He had the guy he trusted. He tried to dart the ball into DC. I mean to Zay Jones, and guess what? It didn't work. But it's how it ended, bro. It's how it ended. Let's see. It's like Carr sees the guys open but doesn't trust his hands versus Waller. Mm-hmm. That's why he has to go. Let's see. Plenty of teams that are running modernized football, tunnel vision. Carr has to go, bro. You don't want this dude to be perfect. Yeah, I think that's another problem. Like, as much as DC can be better, there's not many options right now out there that will be better. Like, okay, you can mention Deshaun Watson. He's not going to be a Raider. You look at what's on his record. Mark Davis won't allow that. Russell Wilson, he'll have interest from other teams that have more money than us, that may have a better defense than us, and that's what'll attract him at the end of his career. Right? We're not going to go out and trade for some crazy quarterback because teams aren't trading quarterbacks. Um, I mean, I understand that we want something different. Me too. At times, I feel the same way. But at the same time, you have to look at it in a realistic standpoint that what other options are there? There's no other options. And the options that are out there are not better than Derek Carr. So we're better off building around Derek Carr and letting him go out and play because guess what? The roster that he had this year, he outperformed. He outperformed. But it is what it is. Let's see. Andy, as a former lineman, what do you think we should do with Alex Leatherwood? Me personally, I feel like you don't move him. Don't move him anymore. Don't move him back outside. Let him get comfortable at the position he's at. Um, you know, hopefully with another off season, um, you know, he'll improve and he'll get even better. But it's 1 year. It's been a weird year. But I feel like if Denzel Good is willing to play right tackle for a year, um, just to be back on the field, I'd be fine with it. But that's more like a band-aid. That's more like a band-aid, man. So if yeah, if you let Denzel Good play right tackle this coming season, um, then you let him play, but you have to really, really have your eye on either somebody in the draft in 2023 or somebody in free agent in 2023 that you're going to replace Denzel Good with. But you can't just be playing musical chairs with your quarterback, um, with your quarterback's protection. You can't. You got to build something, and you got to build something stable and make it stable, or else shitty things can happen. Um, you know, Pickett, Corral, plenty of QBs out there, even the QB from Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, do you think that by our pick, those quarterbacks will be there? And do you think that those quarterbacks coming out of college are better than Derek Carr in year one? I I don't think so. So do we bring Drake back? He's already under contract, M85. He signed a 2-year deal. He's already under contract. He's already under contract. Also, bitch for not letting Mariota get no red zone snaps. I agree. I mean, I've been saying this. I mean, I love Derek Carr, man. But dude, I fucking said this. If you look at one of my first freaking videos on my channel, man, I was talking about Mariota. I was talking about why Mariota could have helped us in the red zone. And this was before the freaking season started, man. If you put Mariota, Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs in a dual set, and then you also have Edwards, Renfro, and Waller in the red zone, you know how much that complicates freaking defenses in the red zone? When they have to account for a great pass catcher out of the backfield in Kenyon Drake, when they have to account for Hunter Renfro, when they have to account for Darren Waller, when they have to account for Marcus Mariota, his speed, and when they have to account for Josh Jacobs, I don't understand why we didn't do it more. I don't. That was one of the first things. That was one of the first things I ever spoke about, ever, on this channel. I have over 200 videos. If you go back to probably fucking under 30, that's one of the things I was talking about. Because our red zone offense the last 2 years has been trash. And part of that is because of the play. Part of that is because of the play caller. But at the same time, you know, if you're this is the thing. I understand Greg Olson didn't want to make mistakes and stuff like that. But playing scared, coaching scared, that's also not good for the team too. If on first and 10, okay, let's say Alex Leatherwood hitches his head and he gets a false start. Great. First and 15. Why are we taking out Mariota? Let him get those fucking 5 yards back, if not more. I don't like that. But Marcus Mariota, he's gonna be a free agent. He's gonna probably sign with another team, and there ain't shit else we can do about it, right? And then we just lost a vital freaking piece in the red zone that we could have used, but we didn't because guess what? We were probably afraid that if Marcus Mariota played a fuck ton of snaps, he was going to end up hitting a lot of his incentives and we had to pay him more. Stupid, man. It's stupid. Mariota was extremely non existent yesterday. He was in for one play. We got a penalty. They took his ass out. It's stupid, man. Like, it's stupid, man. Mishandled Mariota. How the hell do you mishandle a backup quarterback? Hey, I can tell you why. Do you know how much money we paid him last year? We paid him 11 fucking $1 million. He played one game, one, and had no other snaps any other game, and we paid him $11 million. You know what you can do with 11 fucking $1 million? You can put that towards a defensive tackle. You can put that towards a good cornerback. You can put that towards a decent gadget guy at receiver. And he didn't fucking see the field. That's how you mishandle a backup quarterback. This year, you got him on a fucking discount of $3 million. He played a decent amount this year. But it was insane the amount of times that we're on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, same fucking run play up the middle, not putting Marcus Mariota in the game. We've seen fucking Mariota in one game in the Chargers game last year fucking do a front flip over a linebacker to get a goddamn touchdown. Why don't you want that on 3rd and 1? Because his fucking play calling is trash. That's why you go out and you get a new offensive coordinator that's not afraid to use his entire personnel. That's why you get a new head coach. That's why you get a new defensive coordinator that's not going to give up a 4th and 21 for a touchdown. Simple as that. That's how you mishandle a backup quarterback. That's how. You think that was a mistake or accident? Do you guys know the amount of incentives that were in Mariota's contract? There was a good amount of incentives because there's always the possibility, like last year, Derek Carr could have gotten hurt. There was some incentives in there, but it wasn't nearly as many as the incentives he had last year that could have got him paid over $20 million. There wasn't that many incentives, but, it was still up there. Andy, my brother, how are you doing? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm doing great, actually. We're just here talking about the future of this team. It's freaking bright. It's bright, man. It is because, like I said, man, Nick Kwiatkowski, um, Carl Nassib, those guys, you can free up about $15 million with those two guys just getting the boot. Depending if you can find either a trade partner or just cut let go of Littleton. You can make about $20 million with 3 players right there, $25 million. So it's very interesting, man. We got a lot to do this offseason. There's no shortage on why this team shouldn't be active in all parts of the offseason. And when I say that, I say free agency, the trade market, and the draft. Simple as that. Is Quid still under contract? Yes. He signed a 3-year deal with us. 3 years, $21 million, $7 million a year. You let him go. There's no dead money. You free up $7 million. Carl Nassib is going to get about fucking 9.5, almost $10 million next year. You cut those guys, there's boom, fucking $16 million on top of your 51 base. You let go of Corey Littleton. You make around $11 million letting go of Corey Littleton. It's fucking, what is that? close to $75 million in cap. But at the same time, you have to account, well, we need to pay Casey Hayward again. We need to make sure that Quentin Jefferson and Darius Phylon come back. You know, things like that. That was all Mayock and Gruden. Yeah, fucking. I never understood why you pay a 7-sack player $10 million. Never understood that. I can understand the Nick Kwiatkowski one. I can understand the Corey Littleton one because Nick Kwiatkowski was coming off the best season of his career, played a good amount of snaps. Corey Littleton was an all-pro player. I can understand those two. Those were just mistakes, right? Those were just misses, right? You're not gonna expect them to miss that bad. But holy shit, you give Carl Nassib $9 million a year? Yeah, you have to bring back Hankins unless you're gonna go and improve the position. You know, um, it's very interesting, man. Very very interesting. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of contracts on this team that we can free up and we can make a lot of money from. We can make a lot of money from if we play our cards right. And there's no excuse on why we shouldn't be one of the most active teams in trades and free agency because we have the cap. You know, you have the cap. You have the draft capital. You have a you have a you have a mid to late first round pick. You know, you have a mid to late first round pick. Trade that shit away. Go call up Washington. Their defensive tackle group is overflown with talent. If you guys look at probably my second or third video on this channel, it was me trying to call up Washington and say, hey, we'll give you Marcus Mariota, give me Matt Ioannidis. We didn't do it. We decided to pay freaking $5 million to Solomon Thomas. Nothing wrong with Solomon Thomas. He ended the season like 3 fucking sacks, but those 3 sacks were in the first 5 weeks. Did nothing the rest of the season, but he got $5 million. He got $5 million. We going forward, going forward, man. On top of all the good that we have going for us, we really, really, really need to have better money management, way better money management, because this team, man. You look at there's no justifiable way to give Solomon Thomas $5 million. There's no justifiable way to give Carl Nassib $10 million. You can argue that the $13 million a year contract for Corey Littleton is okay. Obviously not now, but when he was signed, you can argue that it was a decent contract. But holy shit, the person managing our money, it has to be better. It has to be better. Pay Denzel Perryman. Denzel Perryman is still under contract, thankfully, Carlos. He still has this year. He still has this year with us. He's only going to be paid like $2 million. So we got some a good steal there. But other guys, a lot of people were asking about Mullen and yeah, people were asking about Trayvon Mullen, Josh Jacobs. Understand this. Trayvon Mullen, he was a second-round pick. He's under contract for 4 years. This year that's coming is his contract year. Second-round picks don't have fifth-year options. So this year is his contract year. This is where he needs to make his money. So, going into this season, he'll still be a Raider, but after that, he's a free agent. All of our first-round picks, Cleveland Furrow, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Abram, they'll all be under contract this year, but either you choose to pick up their fifth-year option and then you get them again the next year, or you let them hit free agency. But there's no doubt in my mind that this offseason, you need to extend Max Crosby. And I'm talking about long-term, 5-year deal. 5-year deal. That's a long-term contract that needs to be done. It needs to be done. Max Crosby needs to be done. there's pieces. Maybe you look into extending, or when if you re-sign Darius Phylon instead of another 1 year prove it deal, maybe you give him a 2 year deal. Maybe you give Quinn Jefferson a 2 year deal. You know, but well, like right now going forward, you have to get better. You have to get better, and you have the money for it. You have the capital for it, and you now are labeled as a playoff team since you made the playoffs. You're now labeled as a playoff team in Vegas. Yes, extend Renfro in Vegas. No tax money, new stadium, new facility. It's a very attractive area, a very attractive area. So, you know, um, you have to do what needs to be done. Mullen grabs more than face on, but Mullen's better off the line and press. Mullen is very handsy. That's something I don't like. He's very freaking handsy. Yeah, new coaches. That's the biggest thing right there. New coaches, a new staff. Trade Mariota and a second round pick for Devontae Adams. I have no idea why the Green Bay Packers would ever accept that trade. They have Jordan Love. They just drafted him last year, 2 years ago. Um, no, I have no idea why they would ever accept that trade. Let's see. We'll draft Sauce Gardner to replace Mullen. I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. Mariota's a 4th-round pick at best. Thing is, guys, Mariota's a free agent. He's a free agent. So unless we re-sign him and then trade him, he's a free agent. You know, if Rodgers leaves, just in case. If Rodgers leaves, they already have his replacement in Jordan Love. They already drafted Jordan Love. Signed Devontae. He's a free agent. We don't need to trade. Well, if he gets franchise tag, you'll need to trade for him. Mullen just can't stay healthy. Mariota is gone. Yeah, I mean, as much as Mariota's built a great relationship with our team, he's only 28. There's a team that'll take the chance on him. Let Mariota walk. You know they're going to tag Devontae. Yeah, it's probably really high possibility. We shouldn't draft all Clemson or Alabama guys. It just does not work like that, and it gives false reason to keep players around. I agree with that statement. I feel like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with drafting guys from big schools because they've already played on the big stage. They've done a lot of stuff already, right? But it is what it is. Risky, bro. Risky productions. Mariota is not under contract. Therefore, you cannot trade him. So the Steelers will not trade for Marcus Mariota if he's a free agent. They will just sign him. Trade Foster Moreau and a first for Devontae. Sean Payne would make something out of Mariota. He would. But I feel like they already have a guy like Mariota and they're comfortable with him. What's their tight end that plays quarterback as well? The tight end that plays quarterback for him, I think he's kind of already their gadget guy. So I know that, but sign and trade. It's easy if you're playing Madden. It's not easy if you're being an actual GM in real life. Taysom Hill. There you go. Yeah. Steelers need to draft Howell. Yeah, Taysom Hill. So I think they already feel like they may have a similar guy like that with Taysom Hill already. Maybe they don't go out. But Cowboys, yeah, they're losing to the Whiners, man. And with the 48th pick, the almighty Las Vegas Raiders select wide receiver David Bell out of Purdue. I was hearing good things about him with Graf and Stu yesterday, so we'll see. I personally would like an aggressive offensive coordinator, bro. We have the toughest division. Aggressive or stupid? Because we have a stupid coordinator already in our division. Or he's a stupid head coach, actually. Brandon Staley. He's stupid. So I think we need to make sure what is aggressive and what is stupid. That's what we need to make sure that we don't mess up on. That's what we need to make sure. Which players just bag chasing? It's hard to tell, man. It's hard to tell. Because when there's money on the line, players can act one way to get their way, get their money. And then they can act a completely different way after they get their money. So it's interesting. We need a aggressive, creative mind. I mean, yeah. Andy, do you feel we should have spiked the ball instead of? I mean, if you watched my reaction when I was on Graf's channel yesterday, I did not like that call. If you watched it, you heard me say it. I did not like that. You threw the interception with 9 seconds left. 9 seconds is more than one play. So I feel like you should have just taken the play. If you would have fucking missed the attempt anyways, it was still a play. But I don't know. I'm stupid up here. I'm just dumb. So I guess spiking was the better option there. I guess spiking was the better option there. Why throw the ball with 3 guys? Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting, but what do I know? I did not like the play. I expressed that I did not like the play. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Thank you, Andy. Spiking the ball was a waste of down. It was. It was a waste of a down that you didn't need to waste. Think about it. Let me put it like this. If your whole thing is to save time, I understand. But you already had everybody lined up on the ball. You already had everybody lined up on the ball. Therefore, run an actual play. If you get everybody lined up on the ball that quick, run an actual play. Take 8 seconds off the clock. That way you throw a pick with 1 second left. I don't care at that point. But have an extra shot at it. Have an extra shot at it. Instead, we spike the ball. Just instead of 4 plays, we now have 3. But like D Raider just said, we already struggle in the red zone. Why are we giving up a down that there's no reason. There's no reason to give up a down when you already suck in the red zone. Do you want DC back as our QB? Who do you want as our next coach? Just curious. Don't know if you already said it. No. So do I want DC next year? I want DC to play out his contract. I want DC to play out his contract. I'm not saying extend DC. I'm saying allow him to play out the rest of his deal. This next season, he plays out the rest of his deal. So let him finish out his contract, and we'll move on from there. Let him finish out his contract. Don't extend him unless you're going to use that money to directly make a big purchase. But there's no point in extending him. Let him be back. Let him come back. Play out his last year deal. Go to the playoffs on a cheap deal. But don't extend him. Don't extend him yet, unless we go back-to-back playoff years. But me, I don't like the quarterback options that we have this year in the draft. I don't think Deshaun Watson is a realistic option. I think that Russell Wilson will be very, very tough to land when there's other teams that have more money and maybe have a better defense. Um, but yeah, risky productions agreed. Um, I think that when you're down 13 points, I don't think we're in a position to run the ball. I feel like we put ourselves behind the eight ball, therefore we couldn't run the ball anymore. And it sucks because Josh Jacobs he really got on his high horse this last portion of the season. So with us not being dominant out the gate, getting penalties on scoring drives, it puts you behind the eight ball, man. Makes sense. Oh, makes sense. You meant to say makes sense. Makes sense, Andy. I'd rather bank out and get a better QB. I mean, like I said, I just don't think that the options that are out there right now are realistic. Personally, drops killed a few drives and one TD yesterday. Drops killed drives, penalties killed drives. It's tough. Next coach you prefer? Me. I feel like our next coach. I know a lot of people feel that it may already be Harbaugh. I feel maybe Harbaugh is already like that's our guy. But I think if I had to choose, if you're asking me if I were to choose, I would take the defensive coordinator from the Indianapolis Colts, Eberflus. Um, I don't want our next head coach to be calling the plays. And the reason why I say that is because when your head coach is your play caller, they then take over too much. They then have control of too much. It's too much power. But if we go out and get Eberflus from the Colts, you stay in your 4-3 system. You don't hurt Max or Yannick's growth. Your linebackers are in the same thing. But guess what? You run a too high system, so that means you can go out and get a good free safety and let Merrick really use his skill set. You know? That's what I think. But I know a lot of people want Harbaugh, and maybe with Harbaugh he brings in a Vic Fangio or something. Me personally, I'm just not a big fan of hurting the production of Max and Yannick. I feel like Max Crosby would not fit at all in a 3-4 system. Yannick has proven that he does not fit in a 3-4 system. We don't have the outside linebackers for a 3-4 system. Our personnel is just not built for that. But it is what it is. If we do it, we do it. And we better do everything in our power to get the personnel for it. How about Brian Flores as a head coach? I mean, I think he needs to start faster. But yeah. I don't want to switch it into a 3-4. Me neither. Do you do you not want Deshaun Jackson to be back? I do not. Um, ooh, Vic Fangio runs a 3-4, but I mean, Deshaun Jackson. I don't think his price tag will be up there, but I mean, I don't know. He said that he wants this to be his last place that he plays, so I would bring him back if he was able to, but if he wanted to. But I mean, he's not like some guy that I'm like, go bring him. Personally, I know Graf isn't with me at all on this, but I really do want to go after Brandon Cooks. I really do. It may not be like the smartest choice. He is a little bit injury prone, but he can stretch the field. Um, he's actually really good friends with Derek Carr, and I feel like you can go out and get Cooks and Devontae Adams. You add playmakers, like you really do add playmakers. Like we have weapons, we don't have playmakers. You know, Zay Jones, he's proved that he could be a weapon. He's proved that he could be a weapon, but he's not a playmaker. You know, things like that. We have role players, but we don't have playmakers. Cooks is better than D-Jack 110%. Tyron Johnson can run a 4.340, so he definitely can get behind the defense. Yep. Yep. Zay can be our 3 or 4. Well, technically, your 3 is your slot receiver. And, oh, shit. But, yeah, I mean, technically, Renfro's is our 3. But I don't know. I feel like, I don't want to say it, but I feel like Bryan Edwards didn't had his shot. So I feel like you go out, you get a number 1 in Devontae Adams, you get your number 2 in Brandon Cooks, you have your number 3 in Renfro, you make Edwards and Zay your 4s. That's what I think. But Edwards hasn't panned out, and he's had a lot of chances, a lot, like a lot. Waller was passed. He didn't get the ball in the last play. You could see his face after dumbass throw. Yeah, I mean that wheel route was developing. That wheel route was developing. It was. It truly was. But yeah. Would you consider OBJ as a free agent option? Um, Apparently the first week that we moved, or apparently the first week that OBJ went to the Rams, they were already discussing like they were open to an extension already. So we beat the Cowgirls and the Whiners, torturing them. Yeah, well, the Cowboys they're already in the red zone, and I think they just got a first down. It's like 4th and 7, or 1st and 7 on the 7-yard line. So yeah, Waller wasn't Waller all year. He wasn't there. It's tough, man. Waller seems like he's not into it sometimes. I agree. There's sometimes where he'll make a play and he just doesn't care. There's no energy. But I don't know. Maybe that's just who he is. Maybe he's just not like a very like energetic person. But I feel like in certain situations you need to have some energy. You do. But it is what it is, man. Hey, y'all. I've been on here for about an hour and 15 minutes. Um, let's see. I'm gonna take off, man. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's doing better after they had a night to sleep on the game. It is a tough one, but listen, my content will be a lot more consistent. I've been consistent this month, but this content over here on this channel will be extremely more consistent. There's more likely going to be a lot of news, a lot of things to talk about. Tomorrow, I'll be on here talking about all of our Raiders free agents. So the people that we should re-sign or not re-sign off of our list of free agents, not about the league's free agents, but the Raiders free agents. I'm gonna make that video for you guys. So there's a lot to talk about. And tomorrow I'm going to start the beginning of our off season, the beginning of the off season talk. We talked about it a little bit today, but most of it was just recapping yesterday's game. But I'm excited. I'm very, very happy to have began this with you guys last year. This YouTube channel has grown a lot because of you guys, and I appreciate you guys so much for it. But like I said, man, you'll see that content from me tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. And I'm gonna continue to let this channel grow, man, because you guys right here, man, you guys are the reason why this channel has grown so much, man. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. I hope everybody stays safe today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And if you're at work hard, man. Work hard. But love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Raider Nation for life. It's the beginning of the new season. We're looking forward. Peace, y'all. I love y'all, man. I'm out of here. I'm out of here.